Ollie, it's the creepiest thing. You gotta help me, man. I can't even sleep in this house with what's going on. It's weird. I said, all right, well, I can be over today at 2 p.m. I can be over there at 2 p.m. Okay, sure, I'll see you then. So Ollie went over to this house. He'd gotten this call from this guy who had just bought this old house. And in a lot of respects, the house was great. You know, it had all this historical charm and did lots of space. And the guy had been there for about 2 weeks when he saw something creepy. I swear, when I was in the same room like earlier today, and the walls were bare, and now I come in here, and it's scribbles all over. That's what Ollie told him on the phone. And then in the morning, they're gone. I don't know. I went in once more, and the scribbles were not there. And as I walked by tonight, the scribbles were back, and I'm confused and scared. There's nobody else in my house, I'm sure of it, but I don't know what's going on. So I wasn't sure what. I mean, Ollie's dealt with ghosts before, certainly. He's also dealt with a lot more cases where people thought they had a ghost. They're, in fact, something perfectly mundane. So in Ollie's world, it can kind of go either way. But he headed over there. The house was cool. It was brick with slate roof in this neat sort of design. Like in a lot of respects, it was kind of a typical rectangular house, but it had all these kind of other shapes worked into it. Anyway, I mean, it sounds like a modern art thing, but it was really very classical in its approach. Anyway, it was a cool house at this point. But it looked old, and it was old. When Ollie went inside, the owner said that the house had been built in the 1820s. I said, that's cool. That's cool. I mean, yeah, that is cool. And, like, that's a big part of why I bought it. You know, I like this history stuff. But, I don't like ghosts. I mean, I never had a ghost before. I guess I shouldn't say I don't like ghosts. I've never met a ghost. I don't like the idea of a dead person living in my house, though. I said, no, it's completely understandable. And why don't you show me the room? So I walked upstairs, and it was one of the bedrooms, and there wasn't anything in there. I said, yeah, I haven't really, I mean, it's just me most of the time, so I haven't, furnished all the rooms yet. So that makes sense. So this one is a spare room right now. I said, yeah, and I'm not going to put somebody in there if there's a ghost, you know what I mean? I said, sure. So I took a look at the walls. And in the light of day, it looked normal. They were kind of, beige.
Oh, I know. I know what happened.
And there was crown molding on the top of the room.
I know.
And it had a little fireplace on the one wall opposite the window. It had a window. It was like a normal bedroom-looking thing. No closets, but that was pretty normal for the time. I looked carefully at the walls and couldn't really see anything. Okay, we'll get there, won't we? I said, so run me through the timeline again. Okay, yeah, so I've been in the house for 2 weeks. Shh, quiet. And like I said, I've been mostly working on the other rooms, getting them all furnished. I mean, I moved, it's a much bigger place than I was in before. I was an apartment before, man. And now I've got so manage yourself. So, I brought in all my stuff from the apartment and it didn't even come close to filling the house. I've got my bedroom. Also, the furniture is too small now, which I hadn't really thought about. Anyway, that's not important. The point is, I cleaned up in this room. I just sort of swept, and I had a cleaners come in, and they did a thorough clean. It was pretty good anyway. But anyway, point is, I've not spent a lot of it. Can you just sit still? Stop. And yeah, so I guess it was 4 days ago I first noticed the writing. I mean, I don't know if it's writing or scribbles. I mean, it kind of freaked me out. So I guess I haven't really gotten a close look at it yet. I mean, maybe it doesn't, I don't know, man. So anyway, yeah, I'd been in there cleaning that day, And then I went back in there at night, and there was this creepy writing all over the walls. I mean, scribbles. I don't know. I couldn't like. I don't know if it was writing. It was scribbles. Also, when you say it was on the wall, like was it a different color or what was it? Yeah, it was like darker, I guess. Yeah. I mean, it wasn't like bold, 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 but you could definitely see it. And then in the morning, it was gone.
Yeah, I know what happened.
I looked around the room. The room was, a lot of these houses don't have air conditioners, and this was one of them. It was heated with a radiator. It was off in one corner. I walked over, and the radiator was cold. I said, it's getting into heating season, right? I said, yeah, I've got the boiler's actually in pretty good shape. It's a hot water boiler. But yeah, oh yeah, that one I don't have that one turned on because, like I said, I'm not doing anything with this room yet. I said, okay. Well, I don't see anything obvious here, but I think in order to solve this, I'm gonna have to see it. Yeah, I mean that makes sense. So tell you what. So do you know what time of day it emerges? This writing. No, I don't know when it shows up. Like, it was at night, but both times I've seen it, but it was already night for like a couple hours when I went in. I said, all right, I'll tell you what. I'm going to come back a little bit before nightfall. If you see it show up before then, let me know. But if not, let's see. Nightfall today, it's around... Okay, nightfall today's going to be at 6:15, so I'll show up here at like 5:45. And I'll just do a stakeout. And we'll see what happens. A stakeout? Yeah, like I'm going to stand in the door of the room and just watch. Oh, okay, yeah, sure. So I went home and went about his day. Had some other business to take care of, and he went back over to the house right at 5:45. Knocked on the door. Said, oh, cool, you're here. Yeah, I was just up there checking, and nothing yet. But I guess you want like a chair or something. I said, yeah. If there's a chair up there that's convenient, that'd be great. Don't worry about it if not, though. So, yeah, I got one just right in the other room. It's like hold on. And the guy brought a chair over, like one of those Poang chairs from IKEA, the springy ones. So I settled in and started to watch. Yeah, the type of chair is not important. It's just a chair. Point is, I sat there and he watched. Now that would drive a lot of people nuts to sit there and watch, but Ollie was very good at being quite patient. He was good at stakeouts. And he didn't mind them. He didn't mind having some time alone with his thoughts, and he was able to focus and listen, even as he contemplated. He watched the walls, and he watched the walls, and watched the walls. And he noticed that, sitting in the doorway as he was, that the bedroom was definitely cooler than the hallway. He saw as the light passed down below the line of the floor and then to the point where, there was no sun coming through the window. And the room got colder. Ollie walked over. And the window, he was realizing, was not in great shape. It was pretty leaky. And there was a lot of cold air streaming in. So Ollie watched. And sure enough, as he sat there, squiggles started to appear on the wall. It started off faint, so much that Ollie didn't really notice them at first until he was looking at one wall, and he looked over to a different wall later. And he noticed something, and he looked back at the wall. He had been looking at it, and he saw that there were some scribbles there. They were all kind of appearing at once, though. So it wasn't like something was writing it right then. It was like something, whatever it was being revealed. Over the course of the next hour, the squiggles became quite clear. It was indeed like a darker version of the color of the paint. Once they were there, and they were firmly there, Ollie called down to the owner. Said, "Hey, do you want to come up and take a look? The scribbles are back." "Oh, yeah, okay, sure." And the guy showed up. Said, "Yeah, that's what I saw, man. It's weird. Do you think it's a... I mean, it doesn't look that much like writing now that I look at it." Oh, I said, "No, I don't. I want to go take a closer look." "Okay, but like, be careful, man. I've heard these stories of like haunted houses, and I don't want to get you, zapped away to a ghost dimension or something." I said, "All part of the job." I've been to other dimensions, actually. Not a ghost dimension. Anyway.
Human dimension.
Yeah. The rainbow dimension. Things happen. Anyway, so Ollie walked over and he brought his bag of tools, and he brought his magnifying glass out of the bag and walked over to some of the writing. He started looking at it. He went back to his bag and got a flashlight. And as the guy watched, Ollie magnified portions and moved the flashlight back and forth. He said, "Well, He walked back over to his bag and took out a white linen rag. He walked over to the section he'd been investigating, and he wiped it. And the writing, the scribbles, right where he wiped, got a lot lighter. It didn't go all the way away, but they sort of said they didn't wipe off. It wasn't like when you wipe peanut butter off of a plate where it smears. It just like wasn't there where it had been. It didn't smear. I looked at it. He took the rag over and he scrubbed in that same spot. As he did that, the color went entirely away. And then he waited. The color slowly came back. He went over to a totally different section closest to the window. He looked carefully. He reached an arm over and ran his finger along the mark, and his arm came away a little bit damp. He said, "Aha! I've solved it. I'm afraid you have something much more insidious than ghosts." "Oh no, is it like demons? What, like cultists?" "Oh man, I knew this house was too good of a deal." So I'm afraid what you have is a moisture problem." What? It's condensation. There's something with the room's getting really cold, and all the moisture in the house is condensing in here from the walls, because this room's cooler than the rest of the house. And you've got a lot of moisture here, so it's beating up. It must be something with the paint, or some sort of sheathing underneath the paint. But it's causing these spots to collect a little bit more water than the walls around it. But if you look carefully, if you wipe your hand along the wall, the guy did, oh man, it is like noticeably damp. "Ah, no." Oh, so did you get the roof check when you bought the place? The guy, yeah, he said it was alright, but not great. Oh man, ghosts maybe would have been easier than like water problems in the house. Shh. Yeah, well, I'm afraid the other downside of that is that while I am actually decently qualified to deal with ghosts, for a water problem in a house, that's going to be more of a roofer. Yeah, alright man, well I'll pay you the fee for your time and all that. Thanks for your help. Before you go, you want a cup of coffee? No, I said, it's like 9 p.m. I said, yeah, I'm kind of a coffee all day drinker. And they had a cup of coffee, and that was the case of the Scribbles.